Hello, very beautiful community. We chat most of the time, but today I penned what I want to say to you to be succinct. And if you want to find it in written form, you can always find it on my Substack. Let's go. In January 2026, ICE performed its duties with such enthusiasm that it became indistinguishable from a personal militia servicing executive power. In Minneapolis, ICE-led federal officers detained a 5-year-old, smashed car windows, set off crowd control grenades, seized a U.S. citizen from his home in his underwear, and killed 2 U.S. citizens, a white middle-class mother and an ICU nurse with no criminal record. A word on the function of this. Whatever the intent of the Trump administration, ICE has come to function as a pointillistic dispenser of state terror. For every actual victim of militarized violence in urban centers, thousands fear they might be next. A word on normalization. When power lies about killing, the corrosive effect on society is incalculable. Retrospective demonization of victims against available evidence disorients citizens. Hannah Arendt warned about this when she spoke of how totalitarianism mobilizes drama and terror to decenter a citizen's sense of reality. And now I'm going to ask you for something hard: empathy. And yet, tens of millions of American citizens support ICE enthusiastically. The task of citizens who disagree is to ask, what do they fear and what are they defending? They fear chaos, loss of control, and deprioritization. They see themselves as defending order in a moment of national emergency. In their frame, ICE becomes the answer, and opposing ICE is not merely misguided but evil. Where you see arbitrary abduction, they see public safety. Where you see militarized terror, they see immigration targets being met. Where you see the criminalization of peaceful protest, they see law enforcement doing their job. Freud, Marx, and Nietzsche would approach this with suspicion. They would see destructive impulses hiding beneath positive aspiration. A division of the world into protectors and enemies, intolerance of ambiguity, and, more rarely, sheer glee in causing pain. But here is the problem. Fellow citizens do not disappear because they have been explained by a psychological argument. Thinking that this makes them go away is itself an evasion, a refusal to accept your dependence on others who you cannot control. This is a difficult time for US citizens. You're in my thoughts. Thank you so much for letting me share my brief perspective, beautiful community. The only thing I would add is that experience emotionally, if you're a US citizen, cross-temporal solidarity. That's to say, what's causing this stuff are social forces that are shared across the West. And what's happening to you today is what's at risk of happening to Europeans in a few years. So understand that from that point of view, you're not alone, and that the challenges we face are really, really difficult. But one thing that's hopeful is that the difficult solutions they require are largely the same across countries, right? If we paint a story about how to stop our lapse into authoritarianism across the West, it is going to be 69.3 or 72.5% identical across different country circumstances. And these solutions are hard because they are based on us trying to tame social forces we can't entirely control. But all of that is nevertheless available to us, and we can do a better job. The first step to doing a better job is, as we recently discussed, for our leaders to stop feeling lost and paralyzed and to stop freaking out. I mean, our responsible leaders who are constitutional and want to reform rather than smash away the institutions that we have which check power. Let's love and talk very soon, beautiful community.